What I'm really excited to share with you today is my monthly financial owner's checklist, because this is something that was really meaningful to me and really made my monthly payroll in particular actually kind of easy and kind of a lot of fun compared to how it used to be. So let's look at that together now. So the owner's monthly financial checklist really starts primarily with payroll. And that's something that I do through Gusto. It's an online program that I have found to be just extremely valuable, easy to use, easy for employees to also log into and get all the information and questions they're looking for. So I don't have to field a lot of really basic questions like, oh, what was my, withholding that I put in, or can I have a copy of my latest pay stub? It's all right there, just stuff that they never have to bother with me about when it's, those basic information questions. But the Gusto payroll submission for me on a monthly basis, I just kind of break it down into employees and contractors. So for employees, I make sure that, any salaried people or hourly people are all paid up. I make sure that time cards are checked for the hourly people and that any additional commissions, bonuses, anything like that for salaried attorneys in particular get put into there. That is done completely by my staff leader, my office manager, and the attorney part is done by my bookkeeper. All I have to do is make sure that I check in with them and that it gets done. And most of the time, I don't even have to do that because they get it done on a timely basis and I get the confirmation email. So unless they have really specific questions because there's some kind of, odd thing that came in that month or a different looking time card than usual, then usually I don't have to answer any questions. It just gets done, but I want to make sure that's on my checklist because that's obviously the most important part about payroll. It's paying your people and paying them well. So next I make sure that I do any contractors. So this can be for me, it's an outside bookkeeper. It's an additional assistant to do client interviews and things like that. And then it's also, if I have my business coach or anybody else related to the firm that does any kind of regular monthly work for me, that's who I put in this category. Next, paying bills. Paying bills is still something that I'm open to improvement on. But what I put here on the essential monthly owner's, financial checklist that really has to be done is just some of the bigger ticket items or some of the things that maybe need to be paid in a certain way or you've chosen to pay, in a certain way. When I first started, I paid so many things by check, and now there's like almost nothing that I pay by check. Everything's electronic is probably how it should be. It's a lot faster and cleaner, and it just takes a little bit of effort to get that going. For those bills, I mean, the really big ones, for online for me is healthcare. So that's the monthly health insurance bill. That's one that you want to make sure is obviously timely. I don't put the taxes here, the quarterly taxes, because I put those on my annual owner's checklist as a separate checklist for each month is broken out throughout the year. Here, I also put any checks that I do have to write. So for me, if I do have an additional owner's distribution outside of my regular paycheck, I write that check. And then for our rent and our storage facilities, for instance, those are things where they prefer to have a paper check. So I acquiesce, we make it work, and that's not a big deal. But I want to make sure that I don't miss those things because a lot of the electronic ones are more automatic. And these are just some of the either bigger, more important ones that I don't want to miss and that, or like I said, are paid kind of a little bit of a different way. Paying retirement. That's kind of another monthly thing that you'll need to do if that's something that you offer through your firm. And that can be kind of convoluted depending on whether you have the option for your employees to be using separate or just kind of different individual providers for that. So if they all have their own financial advisor and place where it's being paid, it can get kind of annoying because you're going to have to make all these separate payments. But one tip that really helps me is putting the login info right there on this page. So what you would do under, for example, under TT America funds or United or whatever fund an employee is using, put in there the website to log into, your password info, and the amount for each employee, and just just put it in there in terms of what you have to do for their matching, what you have to do for, their regular withholding. And then it's easy because it's all contained right here in this checklist. The other really important things as a law firm owner that you want to make sure you do are review your monthly profit and loss statement. And I mean review it down to the smallest thing and just look for trends. And what I like to do is I like to compare, this year to prior year as well. And if there's a big discrepancy, I want to be able to explain to myself why. Or if not, I want to be able to have a conversation with my bookkeeper about that. But you can't do that and really be on top of that unless you are reviewing this sort of rear view mirror thing of your profit and loss statement on a monthly basis. So that needs to be on your essential checklist, and that's why it's here. You also need to make sure you have an amount that you're transferring into savings or some type of longer term investment account or emergency fund, however you've got that set up for your firm every month. Now, the amount that you would transfer to savings can vary widely. Obviously, it's going to matter if you're setting aside that money for the quarterly taxes or for your long-term capital fund towards purchasing a building, doing renovations, updating software, those kind of things. So you got to make a decision on what that money is for, but you want to make sure that as part of your checklist, you have a habit of doing it, but also of remembering why you're doing it and making sure that you are planning for the future. So 2 quick tips I want to leave you about both of these checklists is first, always remember to keep helpful either names, contact info, or login information alongside or beneath some of these items. You don't want this checklist to look too messy, but you also want it to be super easy and effective for you and take a lot of burden in terms of time and energy off your plate. And so having those things right there, whether it's the logins for your retirement people or for payroll or whatever it is, taxes, about who to contact or where to go online to get it done, that's always very helpful. And the second tip that works really well for me as a visual person, but also just as someone who can get really busy on a day-to-day, is to have it printed out. So I love to have the checklist printed out. I love to have it in my hand. It's something that I keep in kind of my physical owner's manual and really helps me be able to just have it as one of 2 or 3 essential pieces of paper that are right in front of that manual at all times that I know I can go and check on whenever payroll time comes around so that I'm regularly reviewing it and that I'm not missing anything. And whether you print it out or not, whether you have it just online, in another program, it always helps to kind of color code calendar some of this stuff on your calendaring, whether it's through Outlook or Gmail or Clio or whatever it is. Have it, color coded, have it on your assistant's calendar or whatever your firm-wide calendar is so that people know that you're engaged in something really important during that time and reviewing things that are absolutely essential as the law firm owner. So I hope these 2 checklists help you take some stress off as a leader and give a little bit more peace of mind that you're hitting all the things you need to be on a regular basis throughout the year and throughout each month. And I'll have these PDFs available for you so you can download as well and take them, use them, and make them your own. I'll see you next time.